Welcome to the Oh So Spurs podcast. Today we're going to be giving you an update on Luka Vuskovic, the Tottenham centre-back over in Belgium, having a fantastic loan, but he has had some moments that we should flag to you if you're thinking he can slot straight into Postecoglou's team. And to help me with this is Elias, who is a Belgian journalist. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. It's good to have you on again. And yeah, well, you know Vuskovic better than any of us. You did interview him face-to-face this year, which was pretty cool.
I did.
And we'll tag it to the end of this video. But he's a centre-back that gets a lot of credit for the amount of goals he scores. Every time I see the stats, it's more goals from Vuskovic. Has he continued that trend recently?
Yeah, he's only scored once, I think, since I've done the interview with him, which isn't maybe up to the standards he'd said previously, but he's still on 7 goals this season, which, I mean, for a 17-year-old, maybe possibly now 18-year-old centre-half, that's an insane record. I think a lot of young strikers at that age would love to have 7 league goals or already. So for him to do it as a centre back is amazing. And I think he's got that aerial prowess, which some players just have that it factor when it comes to winning headers in the box. And I think he really has that. And that's something you can obviously train a bit over the years, but it's something you have to have in you. And I think we'll see him scoring a lot of goals for Tottenham as well in the future.
When you saw him face to face, is he a big towering guy then?
He's really tall. He's 6'4". I think I myself am also 6'4" because we actually compared our heights. I think you can actually see that in the interview that we were standing up when he walked in, and you could see us standing to each other while shaking hands, and he was like, "Oh, you're quite tall as well." But he does have that prowess, what a lot of people call aura as well, around him. He just oozes confidence, and I think that's something you also really need as a defender. So he'll show that. I'm pretty sure of that.
What else about his game then has kind of been his main attributes as a player? Then aside from the goal scoring and being a powerful header of the ball, is there anything else you think that would suit itself well to Tottenham?
I think he's very comfortable on the ball when he gets it. Westerlo try and play out from the back. They also try and play just in general good football. And I think he's helped them a lot with that in his ball carrying ability, just staying calm and composed. He's able to play it out of the back, which is something which also needs some confidence to do because you're still a young lad and you have to try and do what you've been told. I think that in combination with just his general awareness as a defender really makes him a very amazing talent, and I think he's already got abundance of quality to try and maybe have an impact in the Premier League even at such a young age. We've seen with Bergwijn now that it's possible for players to come from a so-called lesser league, maybe need a little bit of an adaptation period, but are able to have an impact. So I think that's something we'll see from Vuskovic as well. As I said, his defensive awareness is really something. He knows where to be inside the box to have to just, for example, when there is a cross coming in, he's almost every time at the right position to clear it or head it out. He just reads the game. Let's keep it at that.
He reads the game beautifully. That's a strength you need if Ange is still our manager. Then I hope he is. But even if he's not, I think whoever the manager is, you want a manager who's going to at least try and play attractive football when they're managing Tottenham, and playing out the back is a part of that. So if that is a strength of his, that's a good thing for us by the sounds of it.
I think if you're a modern centre half, or maybe even in any position, goalkeepers as well, they just have to be able to play out from the back, because even if your manager isn't really that set on it, they still want you to not hoof it forward every time. So I think it's very important for him to at least have the confidence to do it, and to do it quite well as well.
You have mentioned before that, just quickly on that as well, I think a lot of people think he's a right centre-back. He's a left centre-back, isn't he?
He plays at left centre-back, but I think he can play as a right centre-back as well. I think Westerlo have 2 left-foot centre-backs, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but they certainly have one who plays a lot of times. So he is deployed as a right centre-back when the left centre-back is playing, but he's also played numerous of times on the left, because they do change up the two. They've got 2 Turkish defenders. They change those 2 up quite regularly, but Vuskovic is the mainstay in the team. He's done both, and I think he's looked comfortable on both sides. So I don't think that should really be an issue were he to come to Tottenham and play a backup role to any of our defenders.
Yeah, I think it would be logical that with Danso coming in, you've kind of got your right centre-back backup, but that left centre-back position is still, Ben Davies is our cover, right? And I know we're going to touch on soon Vusković's areas where he needs to work on, and one of those things has been his pace and recovery, and from being caught out with a high line being probably a weakness of his game. But Ben Davies isn't a quick player either, is he? But he does play out the back really well, and he is in his 30s now. He is getting to the end of his contract, so it might be that Vuskovic gets an opportunity in Spurs as that backup left centre back as his kind of first move into the first team. But yeah, you mentioned he's had a couple of moments recently in the recent performances against Anderlecht or someone where he got caught out playing a bit high up the pitch.
It was the last game against Beerschot, who are bottom of the Belgian league. In the first or second minute, just a long ball over the top. Westerlo were trying to push up a bit, a long ball over the top game, and you could just see that Vusković's pace is the one thing he's lacking. He said that himself in interviews as well. He knows that he should improve on his pace. He's talked to Belgian press about it. That's maybe the one thing which will be an issue in Ange's system if Touchwood, or if possibly Ange is still here next season. The way Tottenham press up and try and play on front foot will get Vuskovic caught out next season. There's no doubt about that. It's just about his positional sense possibly having to evolve even a bit more for him to maybe take a step back at the right time and try and intercept that long ball over the top. Because of course you can train your pace, you can train your agility, but it won't improve to the levels of Mickey van der Ven. Let's have a joke about it. That will still be one of his lesser areas, and I think that we've seen that in Belgium quite a few times. And it's, of course, he's only 17 or possibly now 18. He's not going to be the finished article, there's no doubt about that, but I think that's something he should work on. But as he's talked about it himself, he's aware of it. I think that's possibly the more important factor. He knows that something is there to be won, that there is a lot of improvement to be made in that category. And I think that's, for a young guy, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, but as the famous Maldini said, if I have to make a tackle, I've made a mistake. And maybe Vuskovic will stand up and say, if I have to make a recovery run, I've made a mistake. We won't have to see him making too many of them. Because great positioning, one of these things about these players, we learn it a lot from JJ, the coach who comes on. He talks about the importance of players knowing when to press and when to push up and understanding themselves and their game better. And it's fine if you can manage it. You need to embrace your if you call them gaps or weaknesses by focusing on your strengths often. And as long as I guess he doesn't lose the ball, and as long as he's positionally quite aware, he should be okay. Whereas other players like Van der Ven can afford to be a bit more risky on the ball, or off the ball, because they know, they can catch back up when they make that error.
Of course, it's all about knowing yourself, as you've said, and as JJ has said numerous of times. I think when a player is aware of his strengths, but not per se his strengths, more or less his possible weaknesses, that's where a good or a great player is born, because they are aware of what to do in certain situations. I think Vuskovic has all the attributes to become a player like that, and I think that's what we as fans should be really excited about.
Well, we have an exciting player on our hands, don't we, Elias? And we'll keep you informed of Elias as Vuskovic has more games, as progression comes through, as well as Alfie Devine as well. And yes, you'll be joining us on some of our other podcasts when you have the international break and beyond that. So that'd be nice.